What is up, party people? It's your girl, Shaun Sunflower, and I'm going to be showing you how I turned this chair into this chair. So if you're wondering why I'm sitting on the floor in the craft room, it's because I had to make the chair first, okay? Cut the girl a break. So this video was actually inspired by Amber Scholl. She's a very popular YouTuber. She's always making some really, really cute stuff, but on a budget. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try my hand at it. I'm going to try and work it out. And I'm actually really pleased with the finished product. It came out a lot better than I thought it was. But not going to talk too much. Let's just get right into it. Okay, so before we start, we're going to need a few things. So let's go over the materials. First thing you're going to need is a chair. I got this particular one from the thrift store. It was only $20 and it's very comfortable, so it was a good find. You'll need a wash rag. Please, just a dirty one. You can use the dish rag if you want to, but nothing fancy, honey. You're going to need a can of spray paint and whatever your preferred color is. I wanted something gold, so I used metallic gold by Rust-Oleum. You'll need a surgical mask, honey, because you can't kill the few brain cells you have left with the fumes from the paint, okay? Keep in mind as well, if you wear glasses, you want to take those off because they do fog up when you breathe. You'll need a set of gloves because you can't mess up those nails. You're going to need a pair of scissors. I use regular household scissors, but fabric shears would be perfect for this. Pew, 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 pew. You're going to need a staple gun. That is the quickest, easiest way to attach the fabric to the chair. And then last but not least, you're going to need your fabric of choice. I picked this faux fur, a very soft pink. Keep in mind the faux fur shed like crazy, but it's just so cute and I couldn't resist it. It makes me feel fancy and fabulous, darling. Yes. And when you sit on it, it's going to make your butt feel real nice. Okay, so the first step is you're going to take a rag. I put a little soap and water on it. You know, want to get it nice and damp. And then you're going to pull up to the club. VIP, gas tank on E, but all drinks on me. Wipe it down. Okay. So anytime you pick up anything from the thrift store, I would highly recommend you wash it or wipe it down. Furniture especially can be real dusty, honey. Okay. It look dusty. Your hair is uneven. So you want to make sure that you wipe it down, you know, get all the dirt and the grime off of it. And then it's also going to clean the surface so that the spray paint will adhere a lot better. So just take your rag, wipe it on down, and then voila, we're ready for the next step. So I tried to spray paint the chair after I let it dry for a few minutes, but come to find out the nozzle was clogged. So I had to deal with that first. To unclog a spray can nozzle, the best thing to use is mineral spirits, aka 1800, baby. Go ahead, pull that shot up. Before I even started spray painting, I put a moving pad down on the ground because I didn't want to get spray paint on my patio. But of course, you shake the can up first. You know, that just helped to activate the paint. You know what I'm saying? And then while I'm painting, I prefer to hold the nozzle down while I'm sweeping it across the chair because it helps me to get a continuous and even stream of paint all the way across the arms and the legs of the chair. Also, make sure you're using a sweeping motion. You don't want to hold it down in one area, and you definitely don't want to hold it too close. like I said, about 10 to 12 inches. That's going to prevent the running or the dripping that sometimes can come with spray paint. Also, make sure you're in a very well ventilated area. There needs to be a lot of airflow wherever you're going to be doing the painting. And while you're spray painting as well, don't pay any mind to the seat cushions. As you can see, I'm getting spray paint everywhere. But you know what? It don't even matter because the fabric is going to cover all of that. So don't even worry about it. Just do your thing. So after you apply a second coat of paint to the top, you want to flip it over and literally just repeat the same process on the bottom portion. You're going to spray the inside of the bottom legs, the outside. I wasn't really focused as much on the part where it meets the ground, but every other portion should be thoroughly coated in the spray paint. And you can do 2 coats with the bottom part as well. I kept shaking the can up because I was getting ready to run out of paint, and I would be so upset if I had to run to the store and get spray paint in the middle of the project. I hate when I'm in the middle of something and I realize I missed a part, or I don't have a product that I need to finish the work. But honey, I made this spray paint stretch, honey. Okay. What I'm doing now, and what you can do as well once you flip over the chair, is you can take the time to touch up the imperfections that you see also. Once you turn it over, you start to see a lot of spots that still have the original material showing through, and you can take the time to touch those up as well. And the paint really doesn't take long to dry, maybe 10 minutes or so between the coats. And I'm so sorry that it's out of frame. Once I started spray painting, I had already committed, and I didn't realize until I started looking at the recording like, dang, I never claimed to be a cameraman, y'all. Okay? But you get the point. You understand where I'm trying to go with the thing, okay? But just touching up the spots, making sure everything looks good. So before you actually get started with laying the fabric on the chair, you just want to look over it one more time and make sure that you touch up every single spot. You see a wet spot there where I went and touched it up. But you want to do this because once you lay that fabric down, ain't no coming back. So make sure that you've covered the chair completely. Got it really, really good in every single spot so that there's no more of the original material showing through. And that's what's going to give you your professional look, like you bought it from a store. It's time for the fabric. It's time for the fabric. It's time for the fabric. Fabric. So now that the chair is completely dry, what you want to do is you want to take your fabric and actually drape it over the chair so that you can kind of get a feel for how it's going to look once you start to actually attach it to the chair. This particular fabric, I got it from Joann's. I don't work with faux fur very often because it generally is more expensive than regular fabric. This fabric is about $30 for 1 yard. I got 1.5 yards, but I only paid $30 on it. That's because I caught it on sale and because I had a coupon for it. But I only got 1.5 yards because I felt like 2 yards was going to be too much, and my estimation was right. I probably could have gotten away with just 1 yard, but I decided to play it safe with 1.5 yards. Better to have too much than not enough. When you lay the fabric on the chair, you want to make sure that there's a little bit of overhang. So that way, if the fabric isn't furry, like the fabric that I'm using, that you won't have any of the original material from the chair peep through. With the fur fabric, it covers a multitude of sins, honey. So even though it may not meet the very bottom of the chair, it's okay because you won't be able to see the material. And then as you're stapling the faux fur fabric, you can literally part it just like you part hair and staple it directly to the chair. What I would recommend is that you staple it to the wooden part of the chair, like where you feel the frame of the chair, staple it to that part as opposed to stapling it to the cushion, because the cushion doesn't have any sort of thick padding or anything underneath, any sort of firm surface where the staples will stick. So make sure the staples are actually adhering to the frame of the chair. Now, before I start stapling the corner portions, I want you all to see the back side of the material. It's literally just a thicker type of canvas material, and it has the fur that's sticking out of it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put it here in the corner, and I'm going to cut it so that I can fold one part over the other. But when you're cutting faux fur material, you want to make sure that you're only cutting through the canvas portion. You want to be very, very careful with that. You don't want to just go hacking at it with the scissors, because you're going to actually cut some of the fibers that give it the furry texture, and you're going to end up with bald spots in the material. So make sure when you're cutting it, you only cut through the canvas portion and not through the fur itself. You want to make a small slit in the corner of the fabric exactly where it meets the bend of the chair. Make sure you only slit the back side, the back canvas portion of the fabric, so that you don't cut into the hairs of the fabric. And then you don't even have to make a big slit, because the fabric itself will rip in a straight line once you tug on it. And then what you'll do is you'll align the two pieces of fabric so that one overlaps the other, and you'll staple everything in place along the side edge, just like you did the bottom edge of the chair. While you're stapling, make sure you apply that pressure, honey, because them staples will pop right on out on you, baby. So once you get your fabric where you need it to be, actually take the stapler and push it down into the material and the wood so that they'll stay. After you've stapled up the front edge of the chair, that same process that you did at the bottom corner of the chair, you're going to repeat at the top so that you can fold the fabric over. Cut the little slit, rip it, and then staple one part down, staple the other portion over top of it, and then align the staples all the way down the back side of the chair. So now that we've attached the fabric to the side, we're going to lay the chair on its back and repeat that same corner process that we've done already. So you're going to cut a little slit, give it a little rip, and staple that thing on up. Cut a little slit, give it a little rip, staple that thing on up. Cut a little slit, give it a little rip, staple that thing on up. They ain't ready for it. Cut a little slit, give it a little rip, staple that thing on up. Cut a little slit, give it a little rip, staple that thing on up. Now you staple it like whoa, staple it like whoa, staple it, dome in the camera head, staple it like. So just continue along the bottom of the chair, making sure that you're tugging on the fabric so that it hangs over enough for you to staple it to the bottom, and also making sure that it's laying straight and flat. Make sure you dig that stapler in there. Don't be afraid, because you actually want it to adhere to the frame of the chair. And then once you staple the bottom, you're going to pick the chair up and you're actually going to now feel over the fabric, making sure that it's laying smooth, pressing it down in any corners and in any edges. So that way, once you attach it to the other side, it'll have that clean finished look, just like it does on the first side. So now that one side and the entire bottom of the chair is almost done, you're going to cut a little slit in the fabric just past the other edge of the chair and then rip it all the way up so that you can remove the excess fabric. Remember, we're only cutting into the canvas portion on the underside of the fabric. And then once you rip, it will rip everything in a straight line for you. All right, so now that all of the excess fabric is removed, you can tuck in that last little corner at the bottom. Make sure you tie up all those loose ends and staple it into place so that it does not move from the bottom. Then we're going to flip the chair right side up. And once we flip the chair up, we can continue to manipulate the fabric so that it lays properly. So now we're coming up the opposite side of the chair. Now we add a little corner. What we gonna do? Go ahead, sing the song, boo. Ah, you sound good. So this part now is just repetition. You've already cut your slit, folded over, and the only thing you're doing is just stapling along the front side of this part of the chair. So what you want to do now is you just want to smooth the fabric over the back. This is the last part of attaching the fabric to the chair. Don't worry if it's not even across the bottom, because that portion is going to get tucked underneath of the chair anyway, so it's not even going to be visible. But once the back is smooth, you're going to attach the staples to the opposite side, just like you did with the first side. Okay, y'all, one last corner at the top. You already know what it is. Snip, rip, staple that thing on up, honey. And then with this corner here, there's actually a little hole that's left, so you can just tuck the front piece into the back, manipulate it, staple it down the side, and remove the excess fabric. The last step is to feel the chair, love the chair, become one with the chair. Actually, what we're doing is we're just trying to feel around for any sort of flaps that are still unattached, as well as any loose staples, because you definitely don't want to get a hole, in your pants or get poked in the booty while you're sitting in the chair, honey. But just make sure you attach everything down. Especially double check those corners. Some of them might be a little loose or a little puffy, but a good staple will fix that. And we are done. Our chair is finished. And here is the final product of what the chair looks like. I am so happy with how it came out. It looks so good in my office, and I'm so psyched. I'm literally sitting in it right now. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. I definitely appreciate it. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think, what you want to see next, and make sure you subscribe so you can stay tuned.